welcome to another edition of Tough Talk. My name is Medina Asaki. During his campaign for the leadership of the 9th Senate, distinguished Senator Ahmed Lawal, PhD, proposed a legislative agenda titled A National Assembly That Works for All. The legislative agenda was anchored on 3 pillars. 1, improving institutional capacity of the Senate for effective program, legislative intervention for good governance, and the 3rd one is special areas of concern. Now, 1 year after, has the agenda been implemented, and can Nigerians say the 9th Senate has indeed worked for them? This and more is our focus today on Tough Talk as we assess performance of the 9th Senate in the last 1 year. Welcome back. My guest is a 2-time senator representing Taraba Central. He's also the chairman committee on special duties. Distinguished Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf, many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Should I say 1 year or 5 years?
5 years.
Because you're a 2-time senator.
5 years.
All right. Would you say the National Assembly has worked for Nigerians? I mean the Senate, the 9th Senate. Would you say it has worked for Nigerians?
Thank you very much for this question. If there's one institution that has actually worked for the betterment of Nigeria is the Senate, in particular, and the National Assembly in general.
In the last 1 year or since inception?
Well, I would say in the last 1 year, since when the president, Senate president, became the Senate president, that is Dr. Ahmed Lawal. Why do I say so? The matters are simple. If we compare 8th Assembly and 9th Assembly, we'll agree that the 8th Assembly throughout has been a form of loggerhead between the leadership of the Senate or the National Assembly and the presidency.
Is that not the essence of the legislature?
No.
For checks and balances?
No, we have not been voted to come and confront the presidency. We are formed to come and check.
Yes, to come and check.
Checking is not confrontation. Checking is not confrontation. That's what a lot of people think, but it is not.
Checks and balances?
Check means consultation. Consultative, relationship between the executive and the legislature.
So tell us some of your achievements so far in the last 1 year, because people would say the 9th Senate is more of a rubber stamp.
We are not rubber stamp because we have been doing all the consultative aspect. The first thing that we did was we made sure that we brought the budget in line with the financial year between January and December. Remember, the budget was approved in December. For so many years, it has never been so. So that is a very, very great achievement that the Senate or the National Assembly has done. Secondly, you will also observe that there is so much harmony between the minority party and the majority party in the Senate and the National Assembly in general. There is no rancor. We work as senators and we work as legislators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it is a great achievement. Thirdly, remember we approved, the financial, the financial act, which we have reviewed and then have done, a good job on that. To the extent that we have reviewed, the VAT. We have reviewed, the stamp duty. We have reviewed, relationship that has given, so much, impetus to the medium and small scale, industries in this country. We have also done what we call, the profit sharing of the oil, in the deep sea. If you observe that, and that will bring in about $1 billion, into the scheme, which Nigeria has been losing for so many years. We have also, looked at the areas of oversighting. We have done, a great deal in oversighting by doing a lot of consultation between the National Assembly and the MDS. So to that extent, and also the approval of the budget, and also, so many courses, in terms of capacity building, for senators, for members of the lower house, that has been done. So to that extent, we are not a rubber stamp. We are in consultation with the executive, and that's how it should be, because we are not voted to come and confront the executive.
All right. Nigerians listening to you right now will say you have not said anything that has direct impact on their lives, especially the Nigerian understood.
Well, I'm sure if you listen very, very well, if there is rancor, how will it benefit the general Nigerians in this country? If the budget was delayed in terms, approval, how will it have benefited, the Nigerians? If, the Deep Sea Act has not been reviewed, how will it be? Is it not going to be worse for Nigerians? Is it not going to be worse if, the financial bill, the finance bill has not been, looked into? All these are direct and indirect benefits, to the Nigerian people. So it has a lot of benefits to the Nigerian people.
So some people will say, what is the essence of passing the budget on time when some of your members are aggrieved that there's not been oversight since the beginning of 2020 till date, and that this is the first Senate that has not done oversight so far so good?
What is oversight?
Oversighting the MDAs. We
are doing that. I do that. Even last week I had meeting with all the MDs under special duties, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Minister of Special Duties, NEMA, Northeast Development Commission, even Refugee, Commission. What is oversight? We've been doing it. There is no committee of the Senate, at least, which has not, a couple of times sat down with the MDS and met over it.
Let's go to your own immediate constituency.
Yes.
What have they benefited so far, Taraba Central, in the last 1 year?
A lot of it. I gave you example, in terms of one, approval of the budget on time. Yes, on the side of the legislature, we have done the approval, but if the money is not released, it's not the fault of the legislature. But we have done a lot of empowerments, women empowerments. We have done youth empowerments. We have done a lot of it. We have done a lot of trainings. We have done areas to restructure Empower, to restructure conditional cash transfer, to reform the school feeding program. We have restructured all that for the benefit of each and every constituency of the National Assembly and the Senate.
So a lot of people passing the budget fine, but what most times the recurrent expenditure is 70%. We are still back to 30% capital, 70% recurrent, and so it doesn't make any direct impact. Nigerians.
There is.
You have 30, and then at the end of the day, the performance is not even up to 30%.
Yes, why did it happen that way? People have forgotten that we have an infractions in the way all over the world with the COVID.
It is before the COVID.
Well, before the COVID, what was the ratio? The ratio was not 70-30. The ratio was I think either 54-46 or 60-40 thereabout. So it was from 90. And we are gradually, coming down. It's because of the COVID that is how gone up a little bit. And you have, this COVID thing all over the world. If you listen to what is happening, you have to ginger the economy.
And talking about COVID, is it not really insensitive when you have to spend 27 billion just for renovation in a time when the COVID-19 pandemic is ravaging the world and a looming recession is just by the corner? Is it insensitive to Nigeria? The National Assembly spending 27 billion for renovation.
When was it? It was a budgetary thing, and since it was a budgetary thing, you will also agree that before the COVID, we actually approved for that. And the reason why we approved of that edifice that you have, It's edifice of nearly 20 years old, and it needs some renovations. Secondly, the communication gadgets, the security gadgets. You will also agree with us that we have to secure that edifice, we have to secure our lives, just like what we are trying to do, in other sectors of the economy. So for me, a lot of people said, well, we are spending this, but if we do not work, how will Nigerians benefit from the budget?
What is reasonable to put that off and say inject the 27 billion into critical sectors of
that's what we have done now. This is what we have said.
Let we reduced it from 37 to 27.
That is why I say the reduction is, what is the meaning of the reduction? It means that, the 27 becomes, are very, very critical. Have you observed that the allocation to the statutory allocation has gone down instead of going up? Have you observed that? Have you also observed that the allocation of the budget to health, the allocation of the budget to security, the allocation of budget to police, army, defense have all gone up because of the recent things that is happening in this country today? So it is not like direct, putting so much money, is spending on palliatives in this country. So much money, as you very well know. The conditional cash transfer, the other palliatives, the school feeding program, so all this, are coming, at the time that it is what? It is recurrent. So the recurrent has to go up. So that's the purpose of why the recurrent has gone up.
How do you react to people who will say, you did say you're not a rubber stamp Senate, and then you kept approving loans for the executive, and Nigerians will say you're mortgaging their future with so many loans approved ever since the National Assembly, since we returned to democracy in 1999?
Thank you very much. How many Nigerians are paying tax? Has it occurred to you?
I don't know. I pay tax.
Of course. So there are so many Nigerians who are...
People don't pay tax, so they should be meant,
Section 24...
that their future should be mortgaged.
Section 24 of the 1999 Constitution as amended clearly specified the role and the obligation of a citizen of Nigeria. It's very, very clear.
How many Nigerians are working? That would be maybe the first question.
What kind of work?
Either in the formal sector or the informal sector.
Well, I wouldn't know
just ask how many Nigerians are paying their tax.
That is why I say I know the formal sector, maybe some couple of millions that are working, in the federal, state and local governments. Even in the non-formal sector, there's so many are working.
83 million Nigerians still poor. What kind of tax are you expecting?
Good. Now, we are poor because we do not live up to the expectation of being citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A lot of people think that, government is all in that we should have. What is the role of the citizens in this country? The citizens must also live up to their expectation, must ask for their own rights.
How do they live to their expectation?
Simple. They have elected us. So now if they are the people saying that we are overstaffed, how is it encouraging us to work? So we must be given, a conducive atmosphere to work. We must be given conducive atmosphere to engage with the media people like you. We must be given, you
don't have enough conducive atmosphere right now.
No. We don't have. But what we have, we should, in the sense that every day you hear accusing one senator or accusing one member house or a representative of not working, of not doing. We are doing the best that we could.
Is that the reason why you're there?
Of course.
For the people.
Of course we are working.
People have the right to ask you questions if they are not satisfied.
Of course they have. But what we are saying that they should make it constructive and not destructive. You ask me what I am doing, I tell you this is what I am doing. We make our own laws. We pass bills. We do oversighting. We do committee meetings. We do our constituency representation. So, and that is what a legislature should do. A legislature should not just go and say dig a borehole, but a legislator should work on the budget to provide for the digging of boreholes.
But when you were campaigning, you didn't tell them all that.
Of course
You didn't tell them.
Of course there was.
You promised them all the good things of life.
Of course, that's the promise.
You didn't explain to them that your work is merely to make laws and not
some of them, no, I agree. There are many.
Primary health care centers, or marketplaces, or buy them grinding machine or motorcycle. You didn't tell them.
I agree. There are some of us, that because of the, I don't know, but I say some of us. Because I will talk for myself, I will not talk for other people. So that's why I say some of us. So the fear of us, that are talking about this, the euphoria of election, euphoria of voting, euphoria of that. So you sit down with people and tell them that, look, I will do this, I will do this. But technically speaking, I will encourage executive to do the execution of the laws that we do. So pure and simple. So our people, tend to understand. Remember, APC is just 6 years old. Is it 5 years old? So APC has to carry on.
How many years does APC need to fully fulfill its agenda of security, economy, and fighting?
There is no number of years that any government will require. Government come and government go.
So how do we assess your performance if we don't have, if it is infinity?
I tell you this. Today, how much rice are we importing in this country? Hitherto, how much of our foreign exchange is being used to import rice?
Do you also know how much the price of a bag of rice is in the market right now?
Look, it is, at a higher price means that investors will even come in to invest more, and gradually the price of rice will come down. So that is just the economics of it. But I mean, compare the importation that we used to the kind of foreign exchange we've been spending on rice, on toothpick, on so many other things that we ought to be producing in this country. But now the economics of it is changing. Gradually, we are having more and more of our local content, substituting, our imports.
And coming to your party, a lot of people will say your party has failed in terms of security, in terms of even the economy, because you did say you're going to diversify the economy, you're going to focus on agriculture and the mining sector. And a lot of people will say even the agricultural sector is not where it should be. So has the party failed?
I agree.
Because you did say 5 years is not enough. So you agree your party has failed?
No. I'm not saying. I agree on the issue of, we have not reached where we want to be. So I agree. So a lot of more work to be done. But about failure or not failure, let me tell you, Mashud Abiola, blessed memory, said, however intelligent you are, you cannot clap with one hand. You clap with two hands. So the governed and the governor need to come together, for the prosperity of this country.
How should they come together?
Good. I gave you ample examples. You see, there is no issue, there is no point all the time, rising of the expectation that, bring down this, remove this, take that one away, do this and do that. What we want is a consultation, a consultative relationship between the National Assembly, the executive, the judiciary, and the citizens of this country. We need that consultation. And once there's a breakdown in consultation, we will not know what the executive, the achievement of the executive.
Do you think citizens are patient enough, considering the situation they find themselves, the level of poverty, lack of infrastructure? Do you think they are patient enough to start going into consultation? In 2015, when you were party, you made all of the promises. You didn't tell them we are going to be consulting with you to achieve every.
No.
You didn't promise.
Just be fair to us.
Of course, I'm being fair.
Just be fair to us.
That's what I'm saying.
Of course, we have told them.
Did you say we should consult with you? At every point. You didn't tell me. You said you were going to hit the ground running. Your party said they were going to hit the ground running.
Of course, my dear.
So what happened along the line?
We hit the ground running.
Where?
In the northeast, if not of what has happened initially during our 4 years, by now we will not be sitting down and talking here. The insurgency was brought down to
there's a resurgency, right?
Yes, there's a resurgency. So we have to find why. And the resurgency is not insurgency. The insurgency, is a different dimension of resurgency. So we have to find out.
On fire,
of
like the
course.
Northwest, where bandits are ravaging every
Why do we have bandits?
I should ask you that. You're a lawmaker.
No, you're Nigerian too.
Of course, but
so you should tell me. I'm in government.
So why are there
government. I'm not the only one that should know what is happening. In just there were about 3 or 4 arrests. Was it last week in Taraba State? Do you know the people who are harboring the bandits? They are the citizens. How will government know that these bandits are being harbored by the citizens themselves?
The essence of government is to have adequate intelligence.
Yes, I agree.
And provide that intelligence to the citizens.
I agree.
And then prosecute whoever is caught in that act, not for citizens to go about and providing intelligence for the government.
No,
all the resources and the technical know-how.
They too have their own role to make sure that they do not harbor, bandits. They do not harbor criminals. They do not harbor, armed robbers and the rest of them. So if they are saying that, yes, on one side, we want government to know, so government, work with the citizens themselves. Government work
because the citizens are disappointed in government. That's why they are not providing information, and they are not, and they don't have. They don't want people work for them.
You think Nigeria is for only the people in government? You think Nigeria is only for people in government and not other citizens?
Confidence in the people of government. They will not give them the necessary.
No. How do you build confidence? How do you build confidence? You build confidence through consultation, through cooperation, through understanding, not through confrontation.
Distinguished Senator, a hungry man will not be listening to understanding, consultation, and he's there for 4, 5, 6, 10 years, hungry, hopeless and helpless. He will not be listening to you when you are saying consultation and understanding.
I will not talk about years greater than 5 years, because that is the age of APC in this country today.
So a hungry man cannot wait for 5 years.
So many things have happened. Why is it that the recovery that we have set to achieve, we have not reached the level that we want? So many things came into play. The APC came on 3 tripod. 1, fighting corruption. 2, economy. And 3, security.
Yes.
In the first few years of APC, we have done very, very well on security. You'll agree with me. We have done very well on the economy, because our GDP,
recession in the first
yes, but we came out of recession immediately.
Back to the recession again.
Whatever, yes, but so many countries are in recession. So many countries. Of course, yeah. We are. If not because of the COVID, we wouldn't have also gone into recession. We wouldn't have gone into it.
Right. Let's come back to the National Assembly. Now, a lot of people will be talking about the PIB bill, which is supposed to open the petroleum sector, and then that has been, pending for many years. Why is it so difficult to get through with the PIB bill? Why is it so difficult?
Your answer is as good as mine. I don't know why it has stayed for this long, why it has not been. We passed it. We passed it in the F Assembly. We passed it. Remember, we passed the PIB bill, but it was on the side of the executive that has not endorsed it. So we have to. Of course. So we have to look at it once again. So we are in the process of looking at it once again. Maybe it is too bogus. Maybe it's too is too large for us to consider at once. So that is why in the F Assembly we broke it down into other 3 or 4 components. So now we look at it again and say, okay, how are we going to do this? For me, there are a lot of things that need to be done. Not by only government. By every citizen of this country.
We'll come back to some of the things that need to be done. But let's go to review of the Electoral Act.
Yeah.
That's another very important area that Nigerians want to see.
Yes.
The National Assembly and especially the 9th Senate live up to expectations. So what happens?
We did that in the other assembly. It was not approved. So we are going to do it again. So we are waiting, I think it is coming as an executive bill. So we are waiting for the executive to bring it. So in the meantime, the members, are amending one session or the other, so we need a comprehensive looking into, the Electoral Act.
If we have bills like the PIB, the Electoral Act, why do we go to the health disease, the disease control bill that has been causing so many a problem across the country?
Which one?
The health bill, the disease, is it the disease?
Yes, the disease, remember, when we talked about, social media bill, the disease, all these things, they are tied to so many other issues of fundamental human rights. So the challenge on the disease bill is about fundamental human rights. That is challenging to the fundamental human rights. So I think public hearing is still going on it. So the public will come and express their opinion about it. So that is the beauty of democracy. That's the beauty of making our laws in this country today. Call the people to come and talk and put their views before it goes through the parliamentary process of making the law. So we are expecting Nigerians to come and footing it. It is not like shouting in the social media. It is not come and sit down, with a lot of information and say where this thing impinges on fundamental human rights. And remember, human right is not absolute. Human right is what? Where your own stop, that's where my own begin. So it's very, very relative. So, but people to think that fundamental human right is absolute, it is also an issue for another day that people will look into it. For us, for me, I look at fundamental human rights being very, very relative and not absolute.
Is that why the 9th Assembly or the 9th Senate want to cage the media at one time?
No. Why will you cage the media? We are talking about the fundamentals. Hate speeches everywhere in the world where you had, a breakdown of law and order, wars and what have you. The initial thing there was what? Was hate speech. Why would a Muslim hate a Christian? Why would a Christian hate a Muslim? Why would a Hausa man hate an Igbo? Or Fulani man hates Yoruba? Why? Is there any reason why we should do that? So, and all these things, emanated, or at least, were encouraged by the kind of misuse of the social media. Social media is a very, very fantastic thing. But where it is being misused, that is why we come in. So it has to be used properly. Recently, Trump is saying, look, he's going to cage, the social media. So, it's everywhere in the world. It is not just in Nigeria.
Social media becomes very good when you want to use it. It becomes a bad thing when politicians win.
No. During
APC relied on social media.
Of course.
The 2015 election.
Were there some hate speeches then?
Of course there were.
Like what?
So many of them.
They were supported by APC, or supported by President Muhammad Buhari, or supported by Yusuf, or supported by Ahmed Lawan, or supported by Rajabiamila. They were not. So if individuals on their own decide to do hate speeches, it's a different matter. But it was not a formal endorsement.
So what happens to that bill now? Is it going to go on consultation? Because a lot of people are saying there must be public hearing.
Of course, it has to go through public hearing, and then we assess it, we look at it in such a way that, look, let us satisfy every segment of this country.
Right. The 9th Senate is embarking on the power sector probe from tomorrow, a 3-day probe. Are you embarking on another wild goose chase, or does the National Assembly and the 9th Senate just want to get their own booty out of the power sector?
I don't think it's fair to say, we are doing this thing to get our own booty. What booty? What for?
Because there's so much money in the power sector.
So if there's so much money, that is why
and they've not yielded anyway. So
that is why they will spend 1.7 trillion naira. We are trying to find that, why would 1.7 trillion naira be spent in the power sector, and yet there is no power in the country? So it's running for a booty.
So what will make this probe different from the others?
Of course, look at the kind of experience and the kind of professionals that we have, at least in the Senate or in the National Assembly. This time we have people that have come in to work for the betterment of this country. The leadership is in line with a lot of understanding with the executive and the judiciary. So look at the experience that has been acquired. We have an 80-year-old in the Senate today, and we have a 40-year-old. So in between, there's a lot of varied ages of experience, professionals in health, in power, in economics, in banking, in so many areas. So I think by the time we pull these experiences together, we are going to have why all the probes in the past failed. We'll also try to find it this time.
Are you saying there were no professionals in the past?
Maybe there are less professionals then. We have more professionals now.
Okay. So that will make the difference.
Sure.
All right. A colleague of yours, Senator Ndume, was proposing a part-time legislature. What's your take?
Well, we do a lot of consultation first and look at it. What is the meaning of part-time legislature? You sit once in a while, or you do a lot of consultations, for all intent and purposes, where we do our consultations with our people in this country and they come to say, yes, that's the direction in which we will go. We amend the constitution, So for me...
Would you get a speedy amendment?
That assembly, what happened? When we tried to do independence of our local government, what happened? The National Assembly passed it. Where did it get stuck? It got stuck in the state houses of assembly. So it is not sometimes, at the national level that is the problem. The problem is a lot of this country fail to understand our fundamental problems where there is collapse of governance is in the states. That is why we have the issue. It is not at the national level. But all the people, are clamoring on just looking at the national government or the federal government. People fail to understand there's much more resources pumped to the states, much more resources pumped to the local government than even at the central. So why aren't people talking? Why are people are condemning the state government, the grassroots, the foundation? Why aren't you people talking? You said APC has failed. How many local governments that are also governed by other party?
Governments in the National Assembly.
Yes, we do.
You represent local governments.
Yes, we do.
And you have state legislatures.
But
who are most times rubber stamped of their government.
In my state, the PDP is the government for the past 20 years in Taraba State. And all these years, the local governments were PDP local governments.
But you had an opportunity to change the government.
Of course.
Every 4 years.
Of course.
You didn't do that.
Yes, we did. We tried. But you see, we have to work within the infractions that we have, the infractions in the INEC, the infraction in the security and what have you. So we are gaining a lot more experience, a lot more, a working arrangement to make sure that, we get, the good people, code and on-code, that will come and run, the state. It is not only Taraba. There are so many states that are crying, for help. That is why in every local government election, the government that is in power will carry all the local governments, except I think Kaduna, where Governor Nasser referred, this is a wonderful job. That there are some few PDP PDP run local governments under the APC state government. There are very, very few in this country. Everywhere, even Benue. Just is it last 2 weeks or so, they had an election. All of them were PDP.
So many people, for you to get the state government up and doing, there must be autonomy for local government. Yeah. We did see that pass. We don't know how effective it is because we did see that some of the local governments still don't get their funds. And just recently, the president signed the executive order 10, giving autonomy to state legislature and the judiciary. We now heard that that's put on hold, that the governors want some kind of dialogue and negotiation before that take effect. Where is the National Assembly in all of this?
I think we should clap for APC for doing that.
Clap when it is not implemented.
No. First of all, you must have an order before it is implemented. Why are state governors, some of the state or majority of the state governors opposing that? Why? Is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong in saying that the House of Assembly should be independent or should be autonomous in terms of, is there anything wrong with that?
Are you giving us assurance that the Mambila project, which has taken decades, to come on board, will be a reality this time around?
I think this...
So the APC government make sure that Mambila project is realized before the end of its tenure.
I want you to ask the Minister of Power that question.
Of course, I'm going to ask him, but I'm asking you. You're also
Yes. The reason why I say whatever the legislature is expected to do, we have done in terms of Mambila Power.
You're not confident that that's reality.
Not that we are not confident. We have a new minister who has come in, the minister from Taraga, and we think that that is the kind of capacity that we will need to do the Mambila Power. So we are expecting, if there's any role that the minister would want the National Assembly or the executive would want the National Assembly to play in terms of making Mambila much more real, of course we are waiting, we are open. We can help, we can assist, we can bring in all our expertise to make sure that that thing has been done.
The biggest threat so far is the insecurity, where it has had different dimensions. Is your party thinking of new strategies?
Honestly,
people are tired.
Honestly, it's worrisome.
Nigerians are tired.
I'm very
human lives don't matter anymore.
I am very concerned. I'm very saddened with every day that here people are killed, people are that. So certainly, there must be a holistic, strategy, on how best we can solve this problem of insecurity in this country. I'm bothered. Extremely bothered and very worried, not just as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not just as a member of APC, even as a citizen of this country. I'm very bothered. I'm very worried, and I think
have a public hearing on the insecurity situation.
Well, I think we should have.
Shouldn't that be an emergency?
I think we should have more of it. We had it in the Earth Assembly. Even in the 9th Assembly we had it, if you remember. So, and again, we are going to look into that. For me, why is it that this is, kept on coming up? Why? What is the reason why of this? Is it the fault of Mr. President? Is it the fault of the people who are heading, the security agencies? Is it the fault of the parliament? Who may not be oversighting, the security outfits, or is it the fault of the judiciary, which all these things are tied into what I call corruption index. It has to be looked in that context. Why should things not work the way Mr. President wants these things to work? He has worked so hard. He has appointed people who are supposed to have conscience, to work for the betterment of this country. For me, I think...
So how do we get answers to all these questions?
I think for me, I think there are some lapses.
On the part of?
Lapses in terms of not coordinating the security units. I don't know what the National Security Advisor is doing. What are his handicaps in terms of coordinating the military, the police, the civil defense, and what have you, and the intelligence? What is the issue? So much money has been pumped. I think it is 4 trillion or something like that in the last count, and yet we do not have as we thought we would have. We have done a little bit, but I thought we should have sustained it and get these things better. But I think, you media people, go into it, give us information, what are your observations? Because I believe even the media will do what we call investigative journalism. I think we should have that.
aside from being worried, are you scared that your party will go down the drain as the party that also was not able to address the insecurity?
No, not that the party has not been able. The party...
No, but if after another 3 years and the insecurity remained the same, so what happened?
I will not say it will remain the same. I just told you that, strategies, have to be developed, strategies have to be met, and then we have to find critically what is it that is happening, that this thing is happening.
That will have to happen very fast, Mr. Senator.
Of course.
That is very slow when it comes to taking decisions.
Of course, maybe yes, maybe no. But this is democracy. I could remember what President Muhammad Buhari said when they asked him about fighting corruption. He said, look, when he became the military head of state, he arrested everybody and said, look, come and tell us the truth, and let the truth, free you. Today we have a constitution that is saying that you are innocent until proven otherwise. In Cameroon, in Chad, in Niger, you are assumed guilty until proven otherwise. Maybe we need to change the law. Maybe we need to amend the constitution in terms of insecurity, or in terms of security, infraction, in terms of corruption, in terms of criminality. Once you are charged, you should be charged guilty. You'll be charged guilty until proven otherwise. So even the constitution, we need to look at it. It is the grand norm in which we operate.
How do you react to people who say we need a brand new constitution?
I think we need, amending the constitution. About brand new, I wouldn't know.
What about restructuring?
But restructuring what?
Some people have said we should go back to regionalism. Some people say federalism. Some people say devolving more powers to the state. Because I do remember your party believed in also devolving more powers to the state.
May I believe that we should devolve more obligations to the states, because for instance there are certain things like provision of water, provision of fire, provision of even primary schools, even secondary schools.
You want to see in the constitution, because we'll be amending the constitution for a very long time.
Yes,
I want to see a constitution that has a referendum.
Well, we are elected people, whatever we are going to do, we are the people to do the amendment of the constitution, and then we passed it to state houses of assembly. Once we can get to third of the number of houses of assembly, that means the constitution is amended. So there are so many consultative discussions that we need to do in this country. It is not just the federal structure, even the horizontal, even between one state and the other, even some boundaries. Up till now there are skirmishes, in some states between one state and the other because of, boundary problems. So there are a lot of things that need to be changed, but that does not mean that you drop this constitution and bring in one altogether.
Changes that should
I just gave you. For me, let first and foremost, let us fight corruption, because if we do not fight this corruption, the corruption will come. I think it's the constitutional matter.
How?
I'll tell you why. Let us all, first and foremost, the president, the vice president, the governors and the deputy governor, the immunity, the criminal immunity should be removed from the constitution.
Is there a criminal immunity and normal immunity?
Well, the civil, because civil is bound to have a lot of, flimsy excuses here and there. But in criminality, I will support, we amend the constitution to remove criminality. Protection of Mr. President, criminal protection of the vice president, and the governors and the deputy governors.
What about the okay, you don't have immunity in the first place?
So once we can have, it may reduce all this impunity that we have. Democracy is rule of law. So the moment we say that we are not going to abide by rule of law, then we are not operating, a democracy. You asked me about the issue of whether, we should go back to parliamentary system of government, what is wrong with presidential system of government. Yes, we had parliamentary system of government. And we thought, the best system for the kind of country that we have, so many ethnic groups, so many religious groups, so many divisions, we should have a presidential system of government. But we should not operate presidential system of government as a parliamentary system of government. I give you an example. So many people say we have opposition. In a presidential system of government, there is no opposition. Because once we are voted into power to become the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what will operate is majority and minority. It is not going to be opposition, because opposition is a parliamentary system of government where you will have opposition. So we need to even understand the kind of constitution that we are operating, and the kind of government that we are operating. We need to understand that. But habit, ethics are very, very, very fundamental. You will have, if you could remember, the way our former President Obasanjo ran the presidential system of government, was different from the way Shagari ran the presidential system of government, was different from the way Umar Yar'Adua, blessed memory, ran the presidential system of government.
Has been abused over the years.
Well, it is now open. It depends on who is on the throne. He runs it the way his personality dictates him to run. So, and in this country, we condone a lot of things. A governor, will go foul of the constitution and will keep quiet. Probably, the president may, and we keep quiet. The ministers will go foul, we keep quiet. And even probably the Senate, will do something, and then we keep quiet. So we need to understand, we need to gather, we need to come, all of us. That's why we have civil society organizations. What are they doing? I tell you this, in the Earth Assembly, they attacked us on constituency project. So, Senator Stella Odua sponsored a bill on constituency project. On the day of public hearing, there was no one single soul that came.
Why was that?
I don't know.
Were they paid to stay off?
Who will pay them?
The same people who wanted to pass the bill.
So who?
I don't know.
The bill is not passed.
I mean, sir, the same people who initiated the bill.
Why should I initiate a bill only to go around and say don't come?
This is Nigeria.
What for? So this is Nigeria, so it's not government. Now it's Nigeria. No. But now you can see the issue that I'm talking about. So it's not even issue of government.
Abolish the the constituency project.
Why?
If people see it as a means of fraud.
That is what people see, because they don't understand how it is working. There is no senator that is awarding contract. There's no senator that is awarding contract. So that is why I will not talk on behalf of other people. If you know, come out and tell us. This senator is using his company, this senator is using his company, this senator's son is using his company.
What is such information? What will you do?
We present it, at the plenary, and we discuss it. Present it. Why should you keep quiet about it? Why?
Distinguished, as we wind up, what should we expect from the 9th Senate in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? What should we expect?
Well, one, we will work with the executive very, very closely to make sure that the aspirations of Nigerians are met. We will work by doing a lot of oversighting. In fact, in the parliamentary agenda, we say we are going to spend about 60% of our time on oversighting, so that we can bring in credibility and value for the budget. So, and we are doing that. For the first time, I tell you this, the Public Accounts Committee is working on 2015 public accounts, and we have seen how this country, how the civil servants abuse the budgetary processes. We are working on that.
We've heard that story many times about abuses of the budget by civil servants, and yet there's no solution.
The solution is a gradual thing.
How long will it take?
I wouldn't know, but it's a gradual thing.
It's not just to accuse people.
No, I'm not accusing. I'm not accusing. It's something that I have seen.
Okay.
Something that I have
We need
seen.
a solution, don't we? And a very fast one.
Yes, the solution is first of all identify the crux of the problem. I tell you this. Last week we had a press conference where the MDS, some of the MDS are refusing to come to public accounts to defend the infractions on their budget, on their accounts, as found by the Auditor General of the Federation. Why should we have that? Why? There are some big, what do you call it, government-owned enterprises that think that they're even more powerful than the government. They are the government to themselves. I don't want to disclose, but you know them. You know them.
I don't know them.
You know them.
It would be nice if you can tell us.
You know them. If you want, I can mention one, NNPC.
Okay.
NNPC feel that they are a government to themselves. Central Bank of Nigeria feel that they are the government to themselves. So we need to understand that what we are doing is for the betterment of this country. We are not witch hunting anybody. We are not doing this investigation to witch hunt anybody. We are doing the investigation to narrow the gap so that we can work for the betterment of this country. So for me, that's what it should be. No government agency should be above government. No government agency should go ultra vires to do what they are not supposed to do under their own rules. You know? So I think we need to do a lot of things. This country, we need to understand. Today people will be applauding either NNPC, will be applauding what Central Bank is doing, will be applauding what other agencies are doing. They may be doing the right thing, they may not be doing the right thing. But the fundamental issue is that let us look at this thing holistically. For how many years NNPC is not making profit? Will you run a company that is not making profit for over 10 years? You keep that company? Why will you keep that company? For making all the losses over the years. And the loss, again, is not 100%, the fault of NNPC, because NNPC goes into extra expenditure, of the Federation, which they should not do. So we need to understand, even the dynamics. Today, NAPIMS, what is NAPIMS? National Petroleum Investment Management Services. Is NNPC not investment, not national investment? Why should NAPIMS be under NNPC instead of NNPC to be under NAPIMS? So there are some structural defects that we need to, maybe by the time we work on the PIB, we are going to sort out all these issues. But in the federal structure, we need to have consultative and cooperative discussions between the federal, the state, and the local governments. The local government, is the immediate environment for a common man in this country. If they are denied the funds to work for the betterment of the common man, that's the problem that we have been having. Many state governments, are not dishing out the resources to the local governments for the working of the local governments. That is why we should focus our attention to. That is why we should focus our attention to. If we do that, the grassroots will have more benefit. When you ask me about constituency, there are some locations in this country, if not for the constituency projects, they will not smell the presence of the federal government. So for us, I think we are doing the best that we can, but let us understand, let us trust one another. If I'm a senator, I have my own integrity. So if you want to challenge my integrity, come open, come with proofs, but don't come with an expectation I give you money to go and keep quiet. Because even in this country, so many things like that are happening. That is why you say it's a Nigerian thing. So the kind of government that we have is working with the Nigerian thing and is trying gradually, to see how best we can change the system. But it's not going to be an easy thing.
Okay. Distinguished Senator Yusuf, thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you very much. Look forward to much more discussion on burning Nigerian issues. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
Right, thank you. From me, Medina Zaki, and the whole team here. Bye for now.